Okay, well, here's attempt number 2. Hopefully there is sound. Sorry about that. I don't know. I just had it set to my laptop microphone, but I must have done something wrong. I don't know. But yeah, it's the first day of the next week. Happy Monday in the West. Happy Tuesday morning over here. Talking about travel today. I get to pick different topics each day, and today we're talking about 1949 in China, which is really important. But I didn't realize much, how important. And so I thought I would share with y'all. And it's also some really beautiful and poignant theater that we were able to see. So I'm Beth Reeves, care manager, currently living in China, talking about different things each day. I do Qigong in the morning, so you get me rough and ready. But because I'm still at the country center here. But yeah, on the first day of the week, I talk about travel and being in China. And, one of the benefits of being here is you get to really learn about the culture and the history. It's hard to learn some of these things from far away, especially when a culture is maybe not represented in the most authentic way in the country where you're from. So being here, I get to hear about this history, about this culture from the people who are from this history and from this culture. And that's really important for me. So most people don't realize that the country of China, the People's Republic of China, as it currently exists, was founded in 1949. That's when it was born, 1949. A lot of people don't realize that. And it came out of a revolution. So the theater show that I saw, and I'm going to share snippets of today, takes place in the city of Chongqing, which was very important for the revolution. It's where the revolutionaries kind of had their headquarters, and then the nationalists had the prisons and imprisoned them. And this story does include some unaliving of those prisoners. But I'm not going to be going into that. I just want you to know that the story is poignant. But they are part of the point of the story is to recognize and hold the sacrifices that were made for this change to take place. And I think that the theater performance does that very well. So I was just going to bring up a picture of the I wish I could make sure that I had sound here, but it looks like it's moving. I see the microphone, the sound moving, so I'm going to assume it's okay. And then I'll bring up this picture and I'll read a little bit about the Chongqing and everything, and then we'll watch a little snippets of the film. So here's the image for us. So the 1949, as I just said, was the Chongqing was the key political center where negotiations between the Chinese Communist Party and the nationalists played out. The nationalists were also called the Kuomintang. And there were some attempts at some peace negotiations, but they failed in a couple years prior to this, like 1945, 1946. But the communist focus was focused on like the workers and the peasants. It was focused on liberation from oppression, ending exploitation by elites, and building a more equal society. These were the ideals that the people who were fighting for the the struggle, fighting for the revolution. These were the ideals they were holding on to. And even in the prison, they still were able to continue having their dialogues and forming and shaping and improving this ideology. And a lot of those records are still available, things that they wrote, that sort of thing, while in prison. And they were pretty young. There were even young families in the prison, even children. But you can see in this image, you can even get a sense, just the scale. Make sure you're still showing. Yeah, the scale of this production is absolutely beautiful, stunning. It's a 360-degree theater. The stage is moving, the audience is moving. It was musical, so there was song, music, and just the way that they did the staging, like the stairs and the angles and, the lighting and the color. I mean, the whole thing was just really incredible. For me, I'm like, this is what I want art to be used for, is to capture and retell and hold these important stories that we need to remember and we need to feel. They're not just for entertainment or whatever. We need to feel these stories, to remember this history and to know what the sacrifices were that were made in order to have these changes. Okay, so yeah, it says that the events are often used to illustrate discipline, sacrifice, and moral conviction. That definitely was in the play. And it's, the revolution is framed as being supported by the masses, and it's being told to have that emotional connection to history, a pride in the national transformation, and it's a movement from what was considered the old China, which had instability and inequality, to the new China, which we're in now, which is more of the unity, the sovereignty, and the social reform. I'll turn this way. So that's the history, and then I just want to show you a little bit of the snippets to give you some idea of how beautiful it is. Incredible. A little quick time video for you all. There's two that I really liked. So this one, the first one, it's so bright out here, it's hard for me to see what I'm doing. So you can just see from that, like, the powerful, portrayal. And then this other one was showing, I thought this was really amazing too. Oh shoot, I didn't share. Pause. Okay, go back. That would be helpful if I share the window. Go back. Window. Number 4. Okay, there we are. Now listen. So, just you saw the people that were flying across there. I thought that was so powerful. Rather than having like airplanes depicted or whatever, it's the people who were the flying, and they actually turned them into bombs, and they kind of would dive dive down onto the stage. It was really, really powerful. So yeah, the performance was inspiring, moving, heartbreaking, and we were all crying. And I think I don't know that I mentioned it in this time, but one of the things I really appreciated was that they made it accessible for foreigners because they had simultaneous translation devices available to us. And so there was a little bit of a delay, but even for the singing, for all the spoken parts, we could hear in our own language like what they were saying, which was really important. So after this performance, we're in Chongqing watching this show, and the next day we actually went to the museum. The prison has been turned into a museum, and so you can go and see where these people were actually held and where they were killed. Some did escape, but a few. Most were killed, martyred. So there are some pictures from the prison, and I thought I would just show a little bit of that. I closed it because I thought I was done. Let me just find the picture I want to show you guys real quick. What is it? It's down here. I'm getting there. Okay, that one. Okay. Okay, so this is just a picture of the dorm from the inside. And then oops, sorry, same one. Why is it doing that? That's so weird. Oh, because I'm looking at the wrong screen. Sorry, guys. Okay, yeah. So obviously there were things they used to torture people, and of course they had a sign here, which I thought was very interesting. At least the handcuffs. Those handcuffs were great, right? Great. Like, were we supporting the nationalists then because they weren't communist? I guess so, right? We were maybe supporting the Kuomintang. Who knows? But I also want to show, if I can, just a picture of one of the people so you can see, how young they were. These idealists who sacrificed for these ideals. And they were so close to being freed as well. Like the war, it was kind of like the war was over, and they knew that the war was over, but they didn't want to. They just kind of killed people just to spite, basically, and so it was really sad. They were so close to being freed. But I think it's good to just at least see the face of one of them. I'm not going to show all of them, but yeah, I think my message for that was just, my education, being here in the country, learning about the country from the country is important to me. And the use of the theater and the art and everything, that investment that they are making to tell the story, to keep the story told, and to do it in such a poignant and beautiful way. I just, yeah, it was incredible. So that's the topic for today. I hope that is not too heavy to start the week. But I think it's important, and it's, these things are beautiful in their poignant way, right? And they changed the country. They changed their world through their sacrifice. So, all right. Well, hopefully there was sound, and I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye.